How attractive is Daniel Radcliffe really? Starting with his front profile, his lowest ratio is his deviation of his ipsilateral alar angle and his jaw frontal angle. So this is a combined ratio, and it gives us a 1.1 out of 10. This is absolutely diabolical, horrendous. It's actually quite rare to see the deviation of IAA so low at 1.1. His next score is his nose bridge to nose width, which is a 1.43 out of 10. Then his lower third at a 2.41. So obviously analyzing Daniel Radcliffe's face, this is his harmony with all his objective measurements marked out without his dimorphism, his height, his status, his voice, things like that. And you can see that he has a very elongated middle third, which is actually a little uncommon among actors. You see a lot of shortened lower thirds and shortened middle thirds and then large foreheads. But actually, for Daniel, his middle third is his largest proportion. Now his face does look a little interesting. His lower third is definitely smushed, and that will show later in the scores and the ratios. You'll see his deviation, obviously. His jaw is too flat, and it gives us 102.5 degrees. Then his eye spacing is 85.4 degrees. So obviously the slightly close-set eyes, but they don't look that bad comparative to his face, because uneven ratios can actually complement each other when they're in the uneven level, positive, minus, they can cancel each other out. Also, this is the best photo I could find for his front and side ratio. And you'll actually be surprised with the side ratios. It's quite an interesting score. Moving on to more interesting scores, his jaw slope is a 5.33 out of 10. So obviously you can see his masseter muscles are very developed for Daniel, and his buccal muscles are not as developed, which is really good, because then you can really see the more prominence of this zygomatic arch with his cheekbones being more pronounced, and then you can kind of see this hollowness line. If you notice, this is a common attractive factor among models, and it's really pronounced on this side with the shadow facing it. Moving on, his eye aspect ratio is a 6.59 out of 10. His bigonial width is a 7.17. Top third is a 7.58 by itself. Middle third is a 7.7 by itself. Intercanthal nasal width ratio is an 8.04. His lateral canthal tilt, common one, very viral, is an 8.33 out of 10. So he has nice positive canthal tilt. Obviously, what's one of his biggest flaws you see on his face? Can you guess? It's his upper eyelid and lower eyelid exposure. Okay. Moving on, his eye separation ratio is an 8.92 out of 10. His eyebrow low-settedness is a 9.14. So he has nice low-set, thick eyebrows. They're also wide comparative to his face. His lower lip to upper lip ratio is a 9.67 out of 10. His ipsilateral alar angle by itself is a 9.68 out of 10. His eyebrow tilt is a 9.82 out of 10. So he has nice positively set eyebrows, which look kind of aggressive, but not too aggressive. And we can actually tap on this score and get a detailed breakdown. This is now a new feature, so I'm happy to show you guys this. And you can actually adjust the landmarks if they are inaccurate on the first time you landmark the face. So we can see his full balanced eyebrow tilt. The eyebrow tilt measurement is 0.6 degrees below the ideal range. This contributes to a harmonious eye region due to the eyebrows being tilted neither too upward nor too downward. So it's not perfectly in the ideal range, but it's actually still in the blue there, and 9.82 is really good. His bitemporal width is a 9.85 out of 10. Obviously, he does have a pretty wide upper third. It's almost like a Megamind looking effect. However, it's really frauded from the view you see him. You'd be talking to him straight on, right? That's why the side ratio is not as important as the front if you're actually seeing the person in real life. And a commenter mentioned that in the last video. So that's a good point, of course. But it depends. If you're looking at him from a 3/4 degree view, he looks completely in the ideal measurement. If you're looking at him straight on in this undistorted front profile, obviously it looks like he has a nice wide forehead. He's got an idea that's about to pop out. His Cupid's bow depth, which is his lip little curvature we all have, is a 10 out of 10. Cheekbone height, 10 out of 10. So let's move over to his side ratios and then see his total score from 0 to 10. By the way, if you'd like to use the app for yourself, 20% off with the code LookLogix. Use the link down below in the description. For his side profile, his lowest score is an upper lip S-line position, which is a 1.72 out of 10. So this is horrendous. Obviously, you can see a very flat upper lip. It doesn't curve out at all. And this is kind of that look to the way he speaks as well, because the fascia alignment of your face will adjust to your own special voice, not just your vocal area, because you can see where it's going to come out. It's going to shape into this different way, and his lip is definitely very flat. From a side profile, this is definitely his biggest flaw for sure. Obviously, that's why it's its lowest score. It's so flattened right here. His nasofacial angle is a 3.37 out of 10, so this is also flattened. His brow ridge is definitely going to be one of the best when we scroll down here, but it's so pronounced, actually, I wanted to bring it up. It's so masculinized with this perfect, almost a 90-degree angle at the brow ridge. Then you can see nice, thick eyebrows as well. And then he also has a straight forehead. It doesn't round out. And then a great hairline. His upper lip burstone line is a 6.27 out of 10. Nasal mental angle is a 7.51 out of 10. And then we can scroll to more interesting ones, like his hold-away H-line. This is a 9.7 out of 10. His gonial angle is a 9.94. His gonian is actually visible, as you can see, and this is him a little younger, probably in the 2010s, and you can see his body fat percentage with his visceral fat is not too high. Honestly, it's his subcutaneous fat around his face is not very visible. He probably doesn't store much fat around there, and that's why you can see almost the striations of his master muscles are visible. His nasal projection is a 10 out of 10. Nasal labial angle is a 10 out of 10. Then his gonian to mouth line ratio is a 10 out of 10. Orbital vector is positive at 10 out of 10. And then his highest score, well, these are kind of balanced even, is a Z angle at a 10 out of 10, which is kind of a newer score. So let's see what he gets from a 0 to 10. All right, Daniel Radcliffe gets a 6.02 out of 10. He has good harmony. It's about the top 28%, and it's about 1 in 3.59 people. So here's the interesting part. His side gets a 7.64 out of 10. It's the top 1.1%. With this visual landmark, we can see 5.0 is the median, 50% of people. His front view gets a top 50% at 5 out of 10. Obviously, his side technically mogs his front profile, but overall, this is definitely a above average face, and it's pretty good harmony. We'll finally see his key strengths and then his weaknesses, and then finally, the last part is the plan potential page. So his ideal Cupid's bow depth, harmonious face shape, well-positioned cheekbones, and then you can pause the video if you'd like to see the rest of these. And then his areas of improvement is going to be his hypodivergent jaw growth at minus 0.86 points. The jaw grows in a flatter angle, resulting in a short or overly wide lower face. This can indicate malocclusion, such as a deep bite or overbite. His lower or his long mid-face, this is what I mentioned at the beginning of the video, minus half a point. The middle of the face is elongated, creating an unbalanced vertical proportion. His flat jaw, his disharmonious mid-face and jaw alignment, short lower third, disproportionate lower face, short upper jaw, elongated lower jaw, thin neck, overly round eye shape, insufficient eye tilt. So this is not his Canthal tilt exactly. It's the droopiness of his eyelids on the outsides, and they kind of droop downwards. And the outer corners of the eyes tilt downward, giving a droopier side look, which is going to minus 0.15 points. So you can fix that with a canthopexy. No canthoplasty needed at all. Around neck region, the neck lacks angularity, appearing soft and undefined in the profile view. Overly narrow nose bridge. And then his minor proportional variations, so they don't fit into specific categories, is a minus 0.73 points. Let's see his final surgical plan and his non-surgical options. Basically, his action plan to maximize his visual attractiveness. And you can just make sure you agree to this and you read the terms. All right, so for Daniel, his action plan can get up to a 7.9 facially. His side can get up to an 8.4, and his front can get to a 7.6. The lip lift, minimally invasive. This shortens the philtrum by skin removal under nose. So this is that part that I was talking about on the flat nose. That would fix that. His jaw reduction surgery is the first surgical procedure that he could do. It reshapes the jawbone to slim and contour the lower face, often for V-line effect. So they would cut some of the actual bone off and then support it for the bone to then regrow into the proper shape. The canthoplasty is one that he could do, but I I suggest the canthopexy instead. Also minimally invasive, but you won't have to go under anesthesia, just local anesthesia at the eye area. that targets the corners of the eye to alter the shape, tilt, and size of the eyes. So canthopexy would be able to do this just fine, and it's actually more affordable. The rhinoplasty is surgical, and you could reshape the nose. This is just how it performs. You know, the nose by itself looks really good, but you could actually change it slightly for a side ratio to project more outwards. You can see it's slightly flattened here. And then his palatal expansion. So this is minimally invasive. This is like a MARP, FME. Actually, since he's older now, there is MARP for adults as well, but there's also like SARP and different things because he's developed out of development. His bone structure in his sutures will not separate as easily. It's now hardened, so it'll take longer and will require surgical installation. The hairstyling experimentation, this is a huge one. This is foundational. And then the step/walking is another recommendation. His hairstyling experimentation, change hairstyle to disguise flaws, highlight features, manipulate perceived ratios. Obviously, his hairstyle looks absolutely foul. It's very retarded. His face kind of poofs out like a bun or like a little loaf of challah bread or something. It's not good at all. He's been carrying this around for a couple of years now. I don't know what it's trying to compensate for. It's really not good. You should just let it grow out instead of shaving the sides. His buccal fat removal is another one. This is minimally invasive. It removes the buccal fat from the inside of the cheeks. Removal of excess fat from the cheek for a sculpted look. Facial liposuction is another one. Is the final one. It removes excess fat from face for contouring, often chin/jawline/temples. So there you go, guys. This is how attractive Daniel Radcliffe really is with his full harmony mapped out. If you'd like to get your full analysis completed, all you have to do is upload your front and side profiles, landmark your face, and it has exact instructions on how to do that. You can use my link down below, the code LookLogix, for 20% off any plan, and also get your free side profile rated only from my code. Check the link in the comment section. Thank you all for watching. If you'd like me to rate anyone else, put a comment down below.